Is it true that I, as an autistic person, am not allowed to share my critique of a TV show that represents my neurotype because I wasn't in the show? I am getting so many comments on my Love on the Spectrum videos criticizing me for this, to the point where my TikTok notification feed are these, saying that I am being bullied and I need to look into that. Now, the backstory to this is that Kaylin, who was a participant in last season on Love in the Spectrum, recently shared a video about her thoughts of feeling like people were speaking over her and her experiences on the show.
There's a lot of irony in the fact that none of these critics have asked the actual cast members how we felt about our portrayal.
Kaylin's video has really great points. Please check it out. Do not go into Kaylin's comments and harass her or critique her. Kaylin and I have actually been interacting online since the last season of Love on the Spectrum. We don't always see eye to eye, but I've always felt that we've had a really great conversation and been really respectful to each other. I think Kaylin's video actually illustrates some of what we're seeing in the online discourse around Love on the Spectrum. On the one hand, her video can be interpreted to say, please don't claim that the participants on the show have experienced the show in a certain way. It could also be interpreted to mean that no critique of the show is valid unless you are an actual participant in the show. And those are the kinds of comments that I'm getting in my content, saying that I'm not allowed to have an opinion on a show that represents my neurotype. So let's talk about that. Kaylin's experience is completely valid, and it needs to be an important part around the dialogue around the show. At the same time, my experiences and perspectives are also completely valid because I am experiencing bullying as a result. So let's say Love on the Spectrum was completely well-intentioned. And from what I've seen, everybody who's been on the show has said it's been a very positive experience, and I haven't really heard much criticism from participants on how they were represented. This is valid. However, I have personally experienced ableism as a direct result of the show, with the show being referenced to reinforce these people's ableism. That is also valid and is additive to the conversation around Love on the Spectrum. Both should be a part of the conversation. There can be different perspectives on the same thing that are both equally true yet contradict each other. Fact, the show has done good in many people's lives. Fact, the show has done direct harm in my life and many other people's as well. Fact, the producers on the show did not listen to the percentage of the autistic population that felt that the show had problematic elements, and those producers did not make very simple, easy changes to address those concerns. Fact, if Netflix funded a documentary series about people of color dating, and the production crew was made up entirely of white people, that would be problematic. Fact, the reality that Netflix has chosen that approach with autistic people is equally problematic, even if there were no other critiques of the representations in the show itself. Autistic people are allowed to have opinions about TV shows that represent our neurotype. We should also be respectful and inclusive of the perspectives of the autistic participants in the show. But if you think the autistic audience should not be sharing their critiques of a TV show that represents their neurotype, that is by definition ableist.